Coming up on the 7-Minute Sports Daily, we take a quick look inside your National Basketball Association bubble as Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers have had a very interesting 48 hours, which has now been extended to 72 hours because of the nonsense of Skip Bayless of Fox Sports. Plus, I'll give you my opinions of the PGA Championship here in San Francisco. All of that, and trust me, a whole lot more coming up on the big show today. I am Dave DeBaugh. This is the 7-Minute Sports Daily, my daily attempt to give you the world of sports in 7 minutes or less. To the pixie dust protected National Basketball Association bubble we go. And I have to say, the Portland Trail Blazers, literally, they have had a very interesting 48 hours. Now, it all started when Damian Lillard missed 2 free throws in a game against the Los Angeles Clippers, which then led to Patrick Beverley during the game to start trolling Damian Lillard. This carried over into after the game. It ended up in a press conference, which then resulted in what can best be described as a classic social media war between Damian Lillard, Patrick Beverley, and Paul George. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's everything we love about Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. It's everything we love about social media when you have these guys who are athletes who actually decide to rip on each other publicly via these platforms. And of course, it's just done in good fun. So these guys are doing what they're doing. They're having some fun with it, obviously. And then, of course, there's a knock at the door. And who's at the door? That's right, it's Skip Bayless of Fox Sports and the Undisputed television show. Now, Skip Bayless is like that college kid who shows up at a party that he wasn't invited to. That is exactly who Skip Bayless is. Now, Bayless, at this stage of his extended media career, nobody has extended their media career as much as Skip Bayless has over the last 10 years. I can tell you that. Bayless, who is the star of FS1's Undisputed show, which from a ratings perspective draws about 160,000 viewers an episode. If you compare that to Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, and the rest of the crew at First Take over on ESPN, they hit around 320,000 viewers per episode. Now, some of their episodes have a lot more than that, but that's pretty much their average. So First Take basically does twice as well as Fox's Undisputed. Now, I bring this up because Skip Bayless's contract is up. He is waiting to see if he can fleece more money out of Fox, or if he's going to have to shift to another network. I don't know, maybe like DAZN. So it's one of those things that you have to remember when Skip Bayless knocks at your door, Damian Lillard. I'm just saying, Bayless was in this to cause controversy. Bayless was just trying to stir the pot a little bit. Now, one of the problems with Skip Bayless over the years has been Skip Bayless will say something that he doesn't really believe. And when he says something that he doesn't really believe, and then he gets together with that athlete that he's actually said that about, he tends to not support what he said before, which of course is why Damian Lillard, after seeing Skip Bayless rip on him on television on Monday, where Skip basically said Damian's not a star. He's not a superstar. That's basically what Skip Bayless was saying. So Damian Lillard fires back with the following quote: "I have never been buying nothing about your fame. You are joke. And after our private convo, full of backpedaling. You will never have my respect. Now, that was a tweet by Damian Lillard, totally, without a doubt, roasting and blasting the very character of one Skip Bayless. The point I want to make here is that since Bayless can't back anything up that he says because he does what I like to call fake opinions. It's not fake news. It's actually fake opinions. Bayless has fake opinions. It's things that he doesn't really believe in, but is willing to say them in order to get ratings. Then, like 3 months later, he forgets about it and reverses his course of thinking with a whole new set of fake opinions. That is right there the very problem that Damian Lillard was actually pointing out in his statement. Now look, Lillard followed up the free throws game that he missed, where he missed those 2 free throws, the next night against a depleted Philadelphia 76er team. Like, there is no process worth trusting in Philadelphia. I can tell you that right now. That being said, he scored 51 points. That's one of the beautiful things about the NBA. You can screw up one night and come back the next night and be the hero. And when you look at Damian Lillard's career from a personal note, I can say this, that there's a little bit more than this now, but I used to have 5 players in the National Basketball Association. I was willing to tell my wife that I can't go to Target today to buy, new towels because I have a basketball game I have to watch. Damian Lillard has been in my top 5 for at least 4 years now. Now, there's some younger players, so my list is expanding a little bit. But you get the point. He is a player worth staying home and watching on television. He's not always going to put up 51 every night, but he doesn't have to. He's just Mr. Clutch. And one of the great things about Damian Lillard, and I'm not saying Portland's going anywhere, but one of the great things about Damian Lillard is that if they make it to the playoffs, they are at least going to fight every step of the way. Okay, real quick, moving on to the PGA Championships from this weekend, which were held here in beautiful Harding Park, TPC Harding Park in San Francisco. Now, as this was going on Sunday, I couldn't help but think there are like 5 or 6 guys that can win this. I had nothing against Dustin Johnson, nothing really against Paul Casey, though he made some stupid comments when he was young. Look him up. Scotty Scheffler, he's young. We don't know that much about him. Tony Finau, he seems to be in every tournament that he plays in. Like, you start to feel bad for Tony Finau. He's won that one tournament and that's it. And then young Colin Morikawa. And of course, you had Bryson DeChambeau. You had Tiger come out earlier in the day. You had the whole Brooks Koepka intimidation attempt. The whole Brooks Koepka intimidation attempt, since it failed so miserably, is something he's probably not going to be able to do again for a very long time. If you missed it, Brooks tried to basically intimidate everybody on Saturday night by essentially saying that a lot of the other players hadn't been there before, and he's done it 4 times versus the other guys like Dustin Johnson, who's only won 1 major championship to this point. It was a total intimidation. It's the kind of thing that Tiger Woods might have done, but not said it publicly. It was just intimidating. And it failed because he couldn't back it up on the course at all. Just totally fell apart. So much so that I wonder if there was some health issues there. That being said, fantastic. Way to go, PGA. Great to see great golf on television. And the coverage was great as well. Colin Morikawa with the big victory there. I just want to say one thing about this. Let's just hold on for a minute before we appoint Colin the next Tiger Woods. That's all I want to say. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a smart kid. He's got a really nice game, as good as anybody else out there at this point. But let's just let's not put that kind of pressure on this kid. Let's just let this kid go out and prove and do what he's going to do without adding all of this Tiger Woods pressure on top of him. The members of the media that did that earlier today were just flat out wrong in their assessment of trying to compare the kid after just one major to Tiger Woods. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Big 7 Minute Sports Daily. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the big subscribe button. Shameless plug. Check out our big website at mighty.rip. Well over 375,000 page views on the big website last month. Lots of great stories on the site, updated daily, so do check it out. For the 7 Minute Sports Daily, I am Dave DePaul, reminding you that sometimes players, coaches, and front office folks make horrifically bad decisions. Bill O'Brien.